tough loss. Against a top 15 team, though, you guys showed up pretty well. Just thoughts on the whole performance.
Yeah, I mean, I think we continue to show up against really, really quality teams, and it just goes to show like our mentality that we want to be in every game. We're going to work for results, and we're not going to give up. We're going to keep pushing and fighting, and created some really, really good chances there at the end for sure. And I think that shows a lot of growth. Just not giving up early goals, and knowing that what we do well is defending and being patient, and then try to generate those chances towards the end of the game. And unfortunately, we didn't capitalize, but I thought it was a really good performance again. Yeah.
Kaylee touched on how connected your guys' defense was despite the loss. How do you feel about your defensive performance as a whole, and in particular, how Kaylee's performance in the net?
Yeah, I mean, Kaylee is very consistent, and that's something that I've known for 4 years now with her, is we can count on her in that way. And yeah, I mean, the backline communication looked really good, and for Bloom to step in the way that she did with, Jasmine Young out, I thought she did a fantastic job. And, I think, there's a miscommunication on the goal in terms of like depth and coverage there on their, they were a very direct team and playing balls into backspace. And I thought we could have adjusted better in that moment. But I mean, all in all, to give up, 1 goal against one of the best teams in the country, good result for sure.
You lost the possession battle, but you sort of had moments. Can you sort of talk, is this what you expected, or?
Yeah, I think, for us defensively against really great possession-based teams that have a lot of speed, we try to stay really compact and make sure that we take away one of their biggest strengths. And we're happy to, I think like 90% of their possession was probably amongst their back four, and that's kind of what we were hoping for, because then after they connected a few passes, then they'd play a long ball. It got really predictable, and, obviously they scored on one, so we weren't super locked in for 90 minutes. But yeah, I think that's most teams in this conference are, going to be able to, keep really good possession, and that's part of our strategy, is just making sure that we take away maybe some of the athletic mismatches and take away space by allowing teams to possess in the back.
With Bloom kind of coming into the starting 11, I know she's played defense in the past, but this season a little bit of a newer role. Just kind of, what does she change for you guys back there?
She's got like a very good aerial presence, and I think she's an older player in the sense that I think she's experienced and understands the game, in terms of communication and spaces to cover and things like that. But it is also still, even though that's what she kind of plays, so to speak, it is a new position for her. Just historically, she hasn't got a ton of minutes. And so I was really proud, again, like I said, of her to step in and do such a great job against a really great offense.
Carly Cormack, had a good couple performances recently, but maybe not her night. Just wasn't able to find the ball as much. Kind of thoughts about that? You think Wisconsin was doing well against her?
Yeah, I think that was probably on the scout for sure, was takeaway. She just scored 2 goals against Penn State, so I'm sure that they were really hyper aware of her, and it seemed like most of the time she got on the ball, she had 2 players around her immediately. And I think everyone knows she's our playmaker, so they did a good job against her, and she still found ways to get loose here and there. But yeah, it was a tough game for us in possession, as you said. So anytime we can't keep the ball on the ground and use her as a threat, then we're going to struggle with possession, because she's such a big part of that.
Your offense was really knocking on the door there in the final 10 minutes. Was there anything in particular that you saw change from your team in those final 10 minutes that allowed you guys to get close, and maybe something you guys can build upon for the next game?
We changed formations. That was probably the biggest shift, is we put another player up top, and we put T at outside back, who's we were hoping would generate some more offense for us in the flank coming from a defensive position. So, and we know that towards the end of games we can count on Jade's service, and I think our probably our best chance besides the one with Boyer was that last service from Jade to T, and hopefully next time we finish that one.
And ahead of Minnesota on Sunday, what are you guys looking to do in training the next couple of days, kind of make the most of that opportunity?
I would say recover is always the biggest thing. We have a lot of players play a lot of minutes, and especially against a team that had the run in possession, we definitely had to shift and cover quite a bit. So our team runs a lot defensively. We ask a lot of them. So main thing is recovery, and then we're game to game. So focus on scout tonight and look at Minnesota and what they're about, and figure out ways to make sure that, we're not exploited, and find ways to take advantage of them.
Couple of recent equalizers and game winners have come late and gone against you guys. How do you see growth in your defense recently tonight for not fading in the last 10, 15 minutes?
Yeah, I think when you watch film and you've been I don't know if this is the right word, but when you've been punished enough times in the last 10 minutes, then, I think that's something that we focused on, is like, we can't let down in those moments. It doesn't matter how tired we are. Like, that's just like, that's the moment to be the most disciplined. And I think when you've got that memory looming in your back of your mind, is like, that's the time to show up the most. And, that was definitely a priority for us tonight, was really like the last 5-10 minutes of each half to really like lock in mentally. And we did a